Everblade is an action platformer with Metroidvania elements with some very cool level design and almost puzzle-like boss fights. You play as a red-cloaked villager who is granted the power of wielding these magical daggers. Now it's up to you to avenge the horrible attack on your world and punish the evil wizard who is responsible. The story is pretty basic. It really reminded me of the old school NES and SNES games. And the same goes for the graphics. This game oozes with charm and nostalgia because of the visual style and simplistic combat. The combat is really button mashy, but the magical daggers are implemented in a lot of creative ways of puzzle solving or platforming. You have to hit a certain switch, you have to freeze moving platforms, and you have to hit things in a certain order, just to name a few. What I really enjoyed about this game was the level design, or rather the level's unique puzzle and platform sections. Each level is unique and has its own setting and gimmick, like an ice level where you have to use this fire orb to break certain blocks, or this aquatic level where you have to switch the water level or freeze the water itself to progress, or this level where you blow up walls with bombs so you can ride this minecart, for example. I must admit, some levels were starting to become a bit tedious, but luckily they aren't super long. You also have a main hub where you can buy items or upgrades with treasure or these blue skill coins that are generally hidden in all the levels. Most items are a one-time use, but the upgrades are permanent, and I probably should warn you that 2 upgrades will become mandatory at the end. This grapple hook upgrade and fast dagger reload upgrade are needed to progress in the final level. So I advise you to unlock at least the grapple hook as soon as possible. The main hub also has a few secrets or collectibles like more skill coins, lore books, health upgrades, and material to unlock magic, so you can do special moves like summoning a barrage of daggers while you are invincible for a few seconds, or giving yourself a shield of daggers that can block attacks. But you will lose magic if you get hurt, so keep that in mind. So, this game sets you off in the first level without any tutorials, other than explaining how to throw your dagger in the intro. You have to figure out for yourself what skills you have and how the environment works. Blocks can blow up, some blocks can be destroyed and reward you with treasure or collectibles, and pixels in the background are actually some kind of ladder for you to climb on. It's a lot to take in, and you feel a bit lost, to be honest, and especially when you encounter the first boss fight. It took me a while to figure out how to actually deal damage to this boss. My daggers didn't do any damage, and my sword was way too short range to hit the head. It turns out that you have to climb on top of these hands and jump off at the right moment to deal some damage. And I can tell you, there are more bosses that are not that straightforward. That's why some boss fights felt like solving a puzzle. Figuring out how to beat this dragon boss or this crab boss took me quite some time, for example. I can imagine not everyone will like this sort of challenge, but I personally like this gameplay design. It reminded me of some games I have played in the past, and I really appreciated that. There are many secrets to uncover, and each level is full of hidden treasure. But exploring each nook and cranny in these levels aren't necessary to finish the game. Like I said in the intro, it has some Metroidvania elements, but only if you decide to revisit some levels if you have gained new abilities or new powers, so you can find useful hidden items. So in theory, you could beat this game by just visiting each level once. but it will be really challenging without a doubt. The final boss has a few phases, and especially the last phase requires a lot of patience and mastery of your skills to beat him. I was a bit disappointed that this game isn't really a Metroidvania game, but I still enjoyed the gameplay a lot. It can be a bit punishing, because if you lose all your lives, you will respawn at the beginning of the level. The bosses will also respawn when you enter a level, except for the mini-bosses. And if you decide to go back to the main hub without finishing the level first, you will lose all the treasure you found in that level. So that's why you have to beat the boss again, so you can keep your treasure. But defeating bosses is also very useful, because only they will give you these tokens that you can spend on replaying bonus levels that reward you with a lot of treasure and more items, so you can 100% complete this game. So in general, Everblade is a challenging but fun action platformer that introduces you to many creative ways of platforming and puzzle solving. I really enjoyed the nostalgic art style and the very catchy soundtrack. Many bosses were pretty memorable because of their design or because of how challenging they were. Beside the fact that it wasn't really a Metroidvania, I still did appreciate the Mega Man-like level select option and progression. All the items or power-ups are implemented in a very creative and interesting way, and especially the final level was a great gauntlet of all the levels and their gimmicks. This final level is enormous, and an awesome test of your wit and mastery of your skills. Except for this part, with rising lava and moving rings that require the grapple hook upgrade. The grapple hook or the dagger throwing requires a lot of precision and great timing. And when things are moving, it can be a bit tedious when you keep missing, because the controls can be a bit clunky when you are in a stressful situation. Anyways, I highly recommend this underrated game if you are looking for solid gameplay and a game that has a challenging but pretty fair difficulty if you are patient enough and don't rush. The beginning can be a bit daunting, but the rest of this game is easy to follow if you understand the basics. So be ready to overcome all these worlds full of hazards, puzzles and crazy boss fights, so you can save your world from being dominated by this evil force.